how to make homeschool more fun. Today we're talking about writing, and I am really excited making sure that I'm going live. We're going to talk about writing. I'm going to show you what not to do, and I'm going to show you something that you can do that is almost guaranteed to up the ante with the way that your kids approach a writing assignment. Option number one, kids, I want you to fill up this page about what it's like to ride a bike. They won't like that. Well, some of your kids will. Some of your kids absolutely love to write. So I'm going to show you how you get your kids to write about riding a bike. Are you ready? You know what's behind me. I can find them. I want you, instead of having your kids fill up a piece of paper about what it's like to ride a bike, I'm going to show you by the end of this video how you can get them to fill this piece of paper without whining and complaining. But it starts right here. Go out in your garage or in your local neighborhood or your thrift store. Get on a bike with your kids or have them ride around the neighborhood. Spend a day enjoying riding a bike. This is the secret sauce to getting your kids to absolutely love to write, is that they have to do it first. So they get on their bike, they strap on their helmets, and they ride around the universe with you, ideally. Now, I have a double hand injury, so I cannot ride with my kids. But you take the kids outside, and when you're outside, you just ride the bike, making sure I'm closing my garage. You ride the bike instead of having them fill up the paper about what it's like to ride the bike. So you go outside and you explore the neighborhood or the park or whatnot. And the secret sauce is that you don't mention that it's going to be a writing assignment. Mama, do not make that mistake. Remember the crumpled paper. Your kids don't want to write about riding a bike. They just want to ride a bike. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to know how to get your kids to write about riding a bike. But if they don't want to do that, you just fill in something else. So you want them to write about dancing or painting or whatnot. You always, always, always start with experience. So we're going to walk into the house and we're going to go up and we're going to actually talk about how this turns into real writing, you know, the kind that your mother-in-law will approve of, or the homeschooler next door. We're going to leave the cold, wet outside behind, and we're going to go up into the dark recesses of the house, and we are going to talk about writing itself. So let's see if you can see my board, which you can. So you've taken your kids out on a bike ride. This is key one. You want their kids to write about something. It always should start with the actual experience itself, because it's hard to embrace. How do you talk about riding a bike if you don't know what the handlebars feel like, or you don't know what the sound of the gravel on the road is? Letting my husband know I'm good. Just a second. Good. They need to hear it. They need to smell it. They need to feel it. They need to feel what it's like to have the wind go by on their face. You need to see that smile break out across their face. Don't talk about writing. Just ride the bike. And make sure that when you're done, you enjoy some kind of food together, because food attached to a memory is powerful. It gives you the recall. You know what it's like. I'm all out of breath because I had a great workout. You know what it's like. You taste something that you haven't tasted in 20 years, but it's attached to something amazing in your memory, and it's like you're right back there. So when you're giving your kids an experience about something that you're going to want them to transfer onto paper in some way, you want to attach another sense to it, whether it's music or Food is the most powerful. I've got 5 sons, and I'm telling you, there's nothing more powerful than food to wet your kid's whistle. So day 1, you go out and you experience the thing. In this case, we're talking about riding a bike. You go out and you experience that with your kids, and you feed them, and you feed them well. The next day, or 2 days later, maybe you loved it so much that you do it a few days in a row. The very next thing that I do with my kids is we start to web about what it's like to riding a bike. Now, we have 5 kids, and they're all amazing riders. And so they can see me coming a mile away. They know that I'm going to have them write about, I'm just fixing my screen. They know that I'm going to have them write about many things that we do together. Fix this so it doesn't fall. So we do a word web, right? You spent the first day going outside and you're riding the bike, maybe the second day as well, but now you bring them to either your whiteboard if you have one. If you don't, get one. It's one of the best investments that we ever did. I always had this in my kitchen when my kids were little because we homeschooled around the kitchen table, and the kids would draw all over it. We'd write grocery lists on it, and we'd do lots of school. So when it comes to riding a bike, we spend an entire day in that whole writing process, brain dumping and brainstorming everything we can think of about the bike. This is the whole lesson for the day, is we'll do a whole thing on, well, what are the parts and the pieces of a bike itself, or what we need to wear on our head, right? The kids are going to be spouting off information. Don't give them the pen, you take the pen. But you talk, well, what do you need? And you talk about the bike itself, helmet, etc. Fill in the blank. Get creative. What are the parts of the bike? What do you put your hands on? What do you put your feet on? How do you stop? What do you sit on? And what's that thingamajigger with the chain on there? Really expand the vocabulary. You talk about terrain. That's a great vocabulary word. In your neighborhood's going to be different than mine. What is the terrain like? My husband grew up BMXing all over the city of his youth, terrorizing the local community, if you will. But the terrain makes a difference. There's road, there's track, there's trail, there's gravel. In our house, the boys are always looking for this. They're always looking for hero dirt. Hero dirt, so we've got lots of dirt trail. My husband loves the sound of dirt under his tires and maybe a little bit of gravel. We live in a very rainy place. When it rains and then it starts to dry, the dirt is this magic stuff that's not stuck in the mud and it's not dry, so it's spraying everything. There's this magic type of dirt called hero dirt, and my boys are always looking for hero dirt. So we would talk about different types of terrains. We would add, what does it sound like? How do you make the sound under your, how do you spell that? How do you spell the of the pedals or the of your brakes? How do you put that into words? So we talk about what it sounds like. What does it taste like? Did you eat a bug when you were going down the trail? Can you smell? What's that word? Is it purgaphore? Is that the right word? Somebody correct me in the comments. Is it purgaphore, that smell right after a rain? Or that ozone smell right before a rain, or where there's electricity in the air? Some magic senses. What do you see with your eyes? So is it mountains? Is it water? Is it dust? Is it cactus? So you're really, really taking in the senses, all of them. Even what does it feel like on your buns when you're on the seat when you haven't ridden for a long time? That can be sore. So you really want to brainstorm senses. And then you want to talk about wildlife. What did you see? Like this morning, I saw a bald eagle flying low and slow in front of me. Oh, it was magnificent. It was just soaring right by. Super, super cool. Day 1, you ride, you enjoy a snack. Day 2, you do a web brainstorming. One of my favorite tools online is called Word Hippo. So if you're looking for words that are synonyms or replacement words, you really want to expand each one of these. So, and you'll add your own, like what are the parts and pieces. So you'll want to expand them so that you have at least 10 or 15 words that explain whatever that topic is. And what you're doing is you're filling your child's imagination and you're priming the pump for them to actually ride. Super, 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 super important that you help them build their vocabulary before you hand them a blank piece of paper. From there, you want to get creative. So this is where the actual piece of writing comes in. Just below this, I'll tag it after so that you can see it. I put a funny picture of a mountain biker that is kind of splayed out on a tree that's split in half. And I gave like a little writing prompt. It's the kind of writing prompt that I would give my sons. Like, it started like a typical Saturday. I strapped on my helmet, straddled my bike, and got ready for my great adventure. Little did I know that my day would take a drastic turn. Look for the picture. Okay, my boys from there would have enough of a word bank. The picture would make them giggle, and then they would be off for the races. So you can, at this point, do a funny prompt. But that's not the only type of writing that there is. You can do a diagram where they draw a bike, and then you label all the parts and pieces. Drawing is writing. You can create a comic strip of first this happened, then that happened, then this happened. Comic strips are writing. You can write safety tips for how to survive your adventure of a bike ride. You could write a guide of your local area. Hey, if you're visiting the Great Pacific Northwest, here are 5 trails that you might want to consider. This one would be for beginners, this one would be for intermediate, this one would be for advanced. So you could write a guide or a poem or a text message from a trail. Just get creative, because the art of writing is really this stuff. It's brainstorming, it's experiencing it, and then being able to fill your imagination with the words so that your audience can touch and see and hear and taste and smell what it is that you're trying to communicate. Super powerful. Sometimes that means the end result will be a piece of paper that looks just like this. It is a blank piece of paper, and all we're going to do is we're going to talk our ideas into the piece of paper, and we're going to pass the paper, and we're going to add our words verbally to the paper. I'm serious. Your kids will love this. Just speak into the paper. There it was, a typical Saturday, when all of a sudden, and then you pass the paper. Out of nowhere, a black bear came barreling down the track. And then you pass, right? And you just pass. When you're done, teach your kids how to throw things away, empty the garbage can, and wipe it down. There's a complete homeschool day for you right there. Not all writing turns out to be a 5-paragraph essay that's double-spaced, perfectly spelled, and has amazing punctuation and mechanics. Please get that out of your head. Amazing writers are trained up because you've slowed down to give them an experience that you've enjoyed together in some way, and then you build up their vocabulary. If this is all you did for the first 7 years of homeschool, your kids would end up being so primed for all of these writing things that could come their way if they go through high school where it's academic, or they end up in college where it's academic. This right here is secret sauce in writing, because nothing is more intimidating to a child that struggles with writing than a blank piece of paper. So instead of handing them a blank piece of paper, hand them a helmet or tap shoes or strap them in the car and go on an adventure. Go to the zoo, go to the museum, go visit grandma's, go visit the pool or the beach or the desert. Experience it together. Enjoy food so they can make that mental connection. And then spend a day or two word webbing or filling up their vocabulary banks. From there, you can write, because you can tell them, hey, today I'd like you to tell me what it feels like to ride a bike on hero dirt. Okay, but they already have all the information on the paper. This is secret sauce. How do you make homeschool more fun, and how do you hook your kids into writing? By leading with experience. Trust me, this is secret sauce. I've got five amazing writers. And it's because we always did this. We spent most of their writing time doing this, marinating them with excellent stories, and then doing experiences and webbing, building their vocabulary, mapping it out so that it was organized, and then they could draw from that when they were writing. It's secret sauce. So strap on your helmet, go crumple the paper, and let me know what you think in the comments below, okay? So this is like a full week's worth of writing for a child. It may even turn into 2 if you develop it into a larger thing that your kids are going to do. But anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.